I'm Hotrod Bob, and you've got GAAS, the great American auto scene. Here, coming to you live, high atop the GAAS studios in beautiful downtown North Hollywood, California. And we've got some special guests in studio tonight. Anna has not made it. Now, Anna's got some difficulties tonight. She broke her toe. They put her in one of those walking boots. So she says. She took it off because she was feeling real good and broke her toe again. Well, she took the boot off, the toe stayed.
She's been de-toeified.
Then she went to school tonight and hasn't made it to the studio. So she's on her way someplace between here and there, and she should be here whenever she gets here. But in case she's not here while she's gone, she'll be here as soon as she gets here.
Well, thank heaven she has class.
She could have come up with something better than a toe, man.
She could have.
Yeah.
But, you know, Randy Winkle at Famoso Speed Shop runs a tow company, so it's forgiven.
She's been towed.
She's been towed.
She's been
All
towed.
right, with us in studio tonight, the always lovely Randy Kerdoon.
Thank you. It's so bright in here.
Randy.
I need shades.
You need shades.
Where's the microphone? Wait a minute.
Right there.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah, okay. And alongside him, Fireball Tim.
Where?
Right there. You see, now, if you were watching
I
Fireball
feel like
Tim
I'm
a moment ago,
a
he was
Kerdoon
live.
Bob Beck sandwich right
You
now.
are. And now normally
That's
it
a
would be
visual
stuck
that
between
people-
us, but wait a minute, never mind. And then behind the control tower, working all the switches, it's the inimitable Bruce Barker.
Almost fell over from the stress
Yes,
of it.
you did. Oh, hey, I forgot to put my headset on. Did you guys forget to put your headset
I
on?
have no headset.
I can't.
Okay.
I'm
Is this
hearing
your mic? Put your
myself.
headset on. You can't hear what we're not doing.
I can hear you, Bob.
You can hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear me yet. All right. We are a little bit behind times because we stopped and we chatted and we didn't get things going on time. You know.
You want to tell them the truth?
No.
You want to tell them what we were really doing?
What were we really doing?
We were doing live, so we could get you guys to listen.
Yes,
So
we were doing
So when you do see us, you would call in and ask us questions and talk cars.
Because we're lonely.
I'm so lonely. All right, if you want to call in, it's 800-809-0802. And you can call us and talk about some of the things we're going to be talking about. One of the things we're going to be talking about is the Classic Auto Show coming to you live this weekend at the Orange County Fairgrounds. And Randy Kerdoon and I are going to be in booth 0-1101. And you never know who is going to be in our booth.
Well, we will.
We will. We'll be in the booth, but you never know who's going to come
two.
through. Bogey was there last time, and the other guys.
We had a lot of people
We had a lot
there,
of people
actually,
there.
yeah.
We had Chip Foose, we had Bogey, we had Stacy David, we had
Dennis
Gage.
yeah.
We had a whole bunch of people coming through.
And
the
his
booth last
mustache.
year. And yes.
Well,
and
that was a separate booth.
It gets there before he does.
It
Yeah.
was in 2 zip codes. But we're going to be doing that again. We'll be in one of the buildings. It's 11 or 0-1101, and Randy and I will be in there. We'll have our booth set up. You're welcome to come by, say hi. You never know. You may end up being the interviewee, and we are the interviewers.
They don't call it the classic old guy show for nothing.
Could be.
And, of
We'll
course,
try.
there's going to be some other people
Yes.
there as well. Not
Oh,
only
there'll
the
be
people,
others.
but the people that are not billed that are going to be there.
Yes.
There is. There's people that are not billed that are going to be. Christy Lee's going to be there.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, last time, Bob and I, if you did check out the Talking About Cars podcast, I believe it's the latest one, where Christy isn't able to tell us what her future holds.
Right.
Because she says she's got some things happening, but she can't say it. At the time we interviewed her, she said she could let us know in February or March.
Oh, well,
So
this is March.
we could fill
We could
in
talk
the
to her.
gap unless she decides to push it back to April and ruin the whole timing thing.
Well,
But
we'll
she
find
is
out.
going to be there at another person's booth. I think it's a TRI booth or something like that.
Yeah.
And didn't you say Linda Vaughn's supposed to be there?
Linda Vaughn's supposed to be
Yeah.
there, and we'll talk to her. Now, a lot of people that are going to be there, we've met before. They know us for some unusual reason, and they sometimes even admit to it. So we're going to try and get them in the booth. We've talked to them about the latest and greatest situation. Linda Vaughn, always great to talk with. She is the icon of drag racing, was Miss Hurst Shifter for many years, and is an icon in drag racing. The other people that we're going to be talking to are in the newer portion of the automotive hobby and part of the Motor Trend Nation, or the Motor Trend Station, or whatever it is.
You're on a roll,
Station.
Bob.
I'm on
Just
a
keep
roll.
it going.
I just keep
keep
falling
going.
over.
I think it's
Actually.
free to get in, but it's $185 for parking. Is
No,
that
it's
what it is?
$185 to leave.
Oh, to leave.
Yes, that's what it is.
No,
Right.
We have no idea what
Yeah.
it costs to get in.
Classic Auto Show.
It's like
Randy's got his own hat.
it's like
Look at
a
that.
Roach Motel.
You check in, but you can't check out.
Okay.
Isn't that the same thing as what Disney had? That was a Hollywood.
Did you just
Hotel
call
Hollywood?
Disneyland a Roach Motel?
No, they had
As
a
long as you
Hollywood
didn't say
hotel
that the classic
you could
auto
check
show
in, but
was
you
it.
couldn't check out.
Oh yeah, that was
the
yeah.
Tower of
My
Yes,
wife
Hotel
actually Tower of Terror. My
California,
wife
yes.
actually worked on that.
Ah, okay.
Scared the crap out of. Can I say
Oh,
crap? Because I'm going to say crap.
Go
Well,
right
thanks
ahead.
heavens you can edit it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, right.
We're live, right?
Edit the C and call it
We're
rap.
live. All right. We're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to be talking about the AMC muscle cars. Yes, they had muscle cars, and actually they were pretty competitive. One of the drivers, Shirley Shahan, is a friend, and she drove not only an AMX, but a Gremlin in the stock and super stock categories. We'll show some other cars that are collectible, and it's surprising. A lot of people overlook the AMCs, but because of their low production, their values are quite high. We'll be talking to Tim about his fine line of books and art and so forth. Right, Tim?
You betcha.
Okay, and his cruise that happens, and it's going to happen this weekend, too.
And he's got a big event coming up at the Murphy Auto Museum.
That's right.
A whole slew of
A whole
nonsense.
slew of things. Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
That's
got a lot
going
of
to
stuff
fit
going on.
a business card, a whole slew of nonsense.
Yeah, that's all I have to write now. I don't
right.
have to
You
put a phone
slew?
number.
Well, that pretty
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
describes
I
everything.
like slew on,
Yeah.
on burgers, but no, that's a Reuben's.
Delicious.
On pastrami, yeah.
You know, I miss the funk. I really do miss the funk
you?
with the AMCs. I can't wait to
Yeah.
get into that.
You know, we're going to be talking about that. We've got some photographs of some of the great AMCs in the past. And then we got three guys rolling their eyes. The great AMCs? Yeah, actually, they were pretty good. So Chrysler took them over, and they had a good line of cars. But if you look at the history of AMC, and we'll talk about that, it is a conglomeration of vehicles that are all considered Mopars now for some reason.
Conglomeration. That's a word, right?
I got sort of a soft spot along. At the time, I had no inclination toward buying one, but the Eagle, the four-wheel drive station wagon, I thought was kind of cool looking.
Those are considered really desirable because they were one of the probably, I guess you could call it one of the first crossover vehicles.
Sure.
And it had real wood sticker on the side. It was
Real wood
Absolutely.
sticker, definitely.
Amazing.
And you go back, that, of course, was the Hornet Sportabout. In
right.
fact, when I was interning at KGIL billions and billions of years ago, you remember KGIL in the Valley?
In the Valley?
You know, 1260?
We both did a stint there.
Right. So back then, the Newsmobile used to be a blue Hornet Sportabout. So
What do you
imagine
know?
Yeah.
me as an intern trying to nose my way into a news site, trying to beat, let's say, then KMPC, which was 710, when they drove those big, huge Chevy Impala. Well, it wasn't a Suburban, but it was the big wagons.
Impala wagons, yeah.
Well, that's 71.
The
So
Caprice,
they were huge.
classics or whatever
Isn't that
they call
what we are now, Sportabouts?
Yeah, almost.
We are.
We are.
Gadflies, Sportabouts.
Sportabout.
I think those were the 1920
Captain
cars.
Sportabout.
Oh, here we go.
And
All
his
right.
dog Spot.
All right, so let's start off with the Classic
Looks
Auto
good.
Show.
Look how good Randy looks.
Yeah,
on
Randy looks
camera.
good on camera.
Well, I
Doesn't
thought
look
we were
anything like
supposed
he
to be
does in person.
looking at the
Gets rid
camera.
of all the wrinkles.
No, we're
makes
not
him
looking at the camera.
It's
I thought
fantastic.
And you're definitely not looking at the camera.
I thought we were supposed to be looking at the like I have a
He's
monitor
definitely
right
got
here.
gas.
That's right. Yeah, but we'll talk to Martin about that.
I know
Wait,
you're
what?
right, Randy.
No,
And
the
it's
monitors
purposely
aren't on. We're
turned
just
off.
watching it. We're
Even.
monitoring.
No, it's on.
We're on.
But
And
it's
we
not
want-
on.
I don't see anything. There's
Yeah,
no-
there's
because-
nothing on this one.
No, the monitor's not on, so we can't see what's going on. But that's okay. I've got the screen on here. Now, one of the things we'd like to do is also recognize our new sponsor,
Oh, I see what you mean.
Irwindale Speedway.
That's right.
Irwindale Speedway and Drag Strip, new sponsor for GAAS.
Stepping up.
And, yeah, they are really stepping up, and we're glad they can be part of it. A whole new season of racing. The opener was this last weekend for the NASCAR track. The Drag Strip every Thursday night. Plus, Hot VWs was this past Sunday. Coming up, it's the NHRA Summit Series, and it's the first weekend in April. 3 drag days in the first week of April. Thursday night, Test and Tune, TNT. Saturday and Sunday, NHRA Summit Series at Irwindale, the first weekend in April. We'll see you out there. Now, I'm also going to be at the NHRA Motorsports Museum Wednesday of April, the first Wednesday in April, as they kick off their new cruise season. Now, they're also going to have a booth not too far from us at the Classic at Orange County Fairgrounds this weekend.
And of course, Bob, you are leaving out
Yes.
the best part of Irwindale Speedway,
Which is
the debut
the debut.
of our poster.
Oh, yes, our billboard.
We're going to have a billboard.
A whole billboard. with our faces on it that people can look at and go, huh?
Oh, is that what they look like?
Well, yeah, really. Then they're going to look over to the
Look
tower.
at the two
and they're gonna-
sportabouts on the billboard.
Yeah. So we're going to get into that. All right, no,
You know, I'm going to put a deal together with Irwindale
you do.
because I'm going to suggest that they create a 60-mile drag strip out to Malibu. I think
60-mile drag.
I think that would
Shut
be
down
pretty
my.
cool.
I got
60 miles an hour or just
No,
60 miles?
60-mile drag
Yeah.
strip. Can you
Oh.
imagine? They will make it as far as Santa Monica, maybe
Maybe.
before the engines blow.
Yeah, that's
Good
true.
point.
That's true.
Yeah.
We could start from there and go back.
We could.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting
Sorry, I got
phrase.
sidetracked.
There. You
The
know,
shutdown
People have a
will be
60. What's your? Now I'm blanking.
word?
But instead of the 60-foot
word.
time, we
Start
could have
60
the
foot.
60-mile time. It
Yeah.
would be
60 mile time.
We'll have a new. They have the
You gotta bring your
the
lunch with
flying
you.
mile.
Yeah,
no,
you
the
could
flying
probably do it in the
60
middle.
miles.
Right.
We can start the cannonball run once again, but it'll be from Irwindale to Malibu.
But it'll be
it's called the Cannonball
fire-
Jog now.
Cannonball jog.
Yeah,
there
Bob.
we go.
The fireball run. What are
The
you guys
fireball
nuts?
run.
No, that's
There we
used.
go.
That's
That's
used.
used
We can't.
already.
Yeah, we can't
No.
talk about
No,
that.
we can't talk about that. No.
We'd have to pay a fine.
We can call
Boy.
the Tim Fireball.
No.
No.
I'm sorry, that's not his name.
That's not his name.
How about the Fireball Sprint?
There we go.
Now we're talking.
And
unless
we
they've
can
already
get
used it.
Pick Apart to sponsor it because they will be picking up parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
All over the place. All right, enough frivolity for a moment. Let's talk about the LA Classic coming up this weekend. Randy and I are both going to be there. As I said, we're going to be in booth 01101. Stop by and see us. But this is an interesting show. It brings car clubs together. It's about the car club culture. And a lot of the booths will be strictly car clubs. So you're going to see Mustang clubs, you're going to see Ford clubs, you're going to see lowrider clubs. And one of the other things they're featuring is the Women in Wheels section. And that'll be all women-built or owned vehicles.
Oh, I'm checking out that club.
You got to check
Yeah.
that out. Now, my wife was able to make it, so her car will be in there too. Bogey is coming in, and she's going to have, we don't know.
We don't know. Boji was supposed to make it, but then she
Supposed
had to
to.
cancel, so Bogey
Oh.
will be here. So don't worry about that.
Yes.
But Jesse Combs is supposed to be there.
Jesse and
Lynn St. James.
Lynn St. James,
Yes. She's supposed to be there.
And yeah,
Wait, what time's it open on Saturday?
in the morning.
Yeah. Okay, good. Oh, man. The things I have to deal with.
You have to go on the website. Now, we've been posting
I'm going
it
to
on
go Friday.
GAAS.
Just hang out and wait till it opens Saturday morning.
There you
Why
go.
not? It'll be a big line.
Big line. I know we're going to.
Huge line of people.
We're gonna get our cars in there about 7 a.m. I know I'm setting up, and Randy and I have a booth. We'll be setting up on Friday. The car show vehicles that are indoors have to move in on Friday, so we're bringing my wife's car down, and a number of other vehicles are going to be moving in. The Driving Museum in L.A. is going to have a display,
Right.
and they're working on a GMC pickup truck. My wife's part of that group. They're putting together, they're restoring a GMC pickup, a second series. And I had to go over that because we saw a 55 GMC yesterday. It is a first series. There are two different body styles in 1955 for the GMC and the Chevrolet pickup trucks. There was a first series and a second series. The first series started in 1947-48 and ran through 1955. A mid-year model change, and they came up with the body style that was more acceptable, I guess, for the time, from 55 to 57. And
That is uncommon, a mid-year change.
I want to say, though,
Yes.
that there was some issue as far as them being able to get all the parts and stuff ready
Yeah.
for the 55, which is the reason it got delayed a little bit. So that's why they had to carry the 54 bodies, the 47
Yeah.
to 54 body style into the 55. You don't see that very often, although oddly enough, bringing it closer to home,
Yeah.
we bought my daughter a 2015 Chevy Malibu.
Right.
That is also the same year the new design, which is basically the same model now, that was also a 2015 Chevy Malibu.
Ah.
So it's very rare, and oddly enough,
Yeah.
it's all General Motors and Chevy. I wonder
Yeah,
if
well,
there's any...
you think about that too. The 1969 Camaro was produced for a couple of extra months because the sheet metal stampings weren't right on the 1970 Camaro. So it came out a little bit later.
Delays.
Firebird was the same situation. Although the Camaro came out in late 1966 as a 67 model, the Firebirds didn't make it out till February. They were having issues with something to do with the Firebird. And when it did come out, though, it shared some body components with the Camaro, but mechanically it was completely different.
And I think there was another story about Mopar in 1969 when they brought out the full-size Plymouth.
Yeah.
It was actually, they called it fuselage styling, and they were not supposed to bring it. They were supposed to have it ready to go in 1969, but they didn't. So they had to kind of throw a mix of what they did in 68 with 69, and it kind of showed up the way it was. So that was delayed a little bit.
Now, on a side note that's kind of interesting, I had one of my bosses worked at Ford when I was, and he had a company vehicle. Now, you got whatever you would get. They would give you a vehicle. When he worked for Ford. He was a district manager. You got what they gave you. You didn't have any choice in the matter. Well, he got a Granada one year, but on the other side, it was a Monarch.
Wow.
He was
Wait,
going
what?
down the assembly line, and someone misread the build sheets. One side of the line was putting Monarch parts on, the other side was putting Granada parts on. And that was the years when the Monarch and the Granada were the same car.
Right.
So it was a Marnata?
Yeah, or
Gronarch. I like Gronarch much better.
Grenard.
So, that does happen, not necessarily intentionally.
If you have one of those are worth it.
Those are worth a ton. Now, talking about that, I was watching,
If they
and this
run.
is one of the people that's going to be there. The guys from the guy that does the Chrysler restorations up in Oregon.
Oh, Graveyard Cars.
Graveyard Cars.
Mark Warman.
Mark Warman. He had his show the other night, and they were restoring, or not, they were kind of restoring a Challenger for someone. And he wanted it upgraded to a 440 from a 383 car, but he wanted it to look like a restored car. They got to the engine, they were checking the numbers, and the number stamped on the top was correct for the year and the engine size. The number stamped on the side of the block, which Chrysler does, was not. The top said 440, the bottom said 383. So that sometimes happens from the factory. And, things like that happen. You find those things. It may increase value, but it may reduce value. And one of the questions that Wortman came up with was, all right, if we have someone judging this car and they look at the number stamped on top, are they going to also look at the number stamped on the side, and which one are they going to accept? The top one is a milled plate or a milled portion of the block. So someone can stamp in numbers. The only way to check that is if you acid etch it to see if there's a depression from a previous number. They checked it out, and that's all they could find.
So you're saying that was the original engine in the car?
It was the correct engine for what they were doing. It was a 440 high-performance block, according to the stamping on top. Everything was correct for what they were doing. They were upgrading a 383 car to a 440 and making it look like a fully restored Super Bee. The number stamped on the side of the block, though, was not the same. It was 383 high performance. So you had one block and two people probably doing the assembly, and one guy was misreading the build sheet and stamped in different numbers on the side of the block than he did on the top of the block.
The question is, did the guy ever work for Ford Lincoln Mercury?
He may have, based on that. That might be a question we'll talk to Mark about when we see him at the booth at the Classic Show this weekend.
Would be good.
He's going to be down there. Graveyard Cars is going to be represented, and we're going to be talking with him, hopefully, and a few other people. One of the things, if you're into Japanese cars, the JDM group is going to be there. And these are the guys that restore and modify and upgrade Japanese production cars, much like a lot of American guys do here that you always see on the TV shows. But this one's interesting to me because JDM just did a couple of 510s and Skylines, and we've talked about Skylines before. Skyline was actually a separate company. Nissan bought Skyline because they made high-performance sedans. And at the time, Nissan did not have anything like that. They bought the Skyline company and merged it into the Nissan line, making a separate line of cars called Skylines. What you've got now in the U.S. is the GTR, which essentially is a Skyline. But it's the first one they have officially imported into the USA. Now, we're showing the video right now of the Classic Auto Show. Last year was at the Convention Center in Los Angeles. Beautiful place. It was 2 floors of cars. The difficult part, though, was getting to the LA Convention Center, and then the cost of parking. Now, they've resolved that issue by moving it to the Orange County Fairgrounds. It'll be indoor and outdoor show. Weather's supposed to be perfect, and the cost so much less for parking. It's easier to get to. It's freeway close on the 405
I'm still paying
freeway.
off that card from that last year.
You are?
Yeah. I had
you-
to use an Amex on that.
Well, we had to get a shuttle because we had 2 cars in the show. I had my car in the TMPCC booth,
That's
and
right.
my wife's car was in the early V8 Ford booth. So, but we only had one driver, so I had to bring her car in first, get a ride back to Anaheim, then get into my car and bring it, and then get a ride back to Anaheim again. No, actually, I didn't go
Fun.
back to Anaheim. I had to get another ride to go to Irwindale for the drags that night because we moved in on Thursday. Man, but it was a 3-day show.
Now, what you're looking at is where the first year at the Classic Auto Show, they actually had parking.
Yes.
So that's where a lot of the people displaying would park. Then they opened this up here to the displays, and that's where a lot of...
That's Cantia Hall, right?
It is.
And that is actually the garage.
Yeah.
They use part of the garage, like they do for the LA Auto Show,
Right.
as the display area. And last year we were
neon.
actually in that section, in the downstairs section.
That's
for
a good
the
space,
TMPCC.
especially if you have a skateboard or you have a
super
little
smooth.
EV thing to roll around
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Anna
Roller skates?
Octane, were you at the Classic Car Show last year?
No, I missed it. I'm actually just on the phone because I just called to say I love you.
Oh,
That's like that Stevie Wonder
Stevie
song.
Wonder.
I
I
just
just all
called
these cute
to
boys,
say-
and here I am,
You're
still
missing
stuck
out.
at school.
With a
We're
broken
feeling
foot.
for your toe, Anna. We really are.
we are, yes.
Oh, I fell over the cat and broke my foot.
I can't
you
tell
broke-
you
you
how
broke
many
your-
times
you broke your
that
whole
happens.
foot?
You fell over
Well,
the
I
cat.
broke the toe, but it feels like the whole foot, the whole thing's purple.
You know, I would believe that if it was a dog, but cats tend to make those things happen.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
they
agree.
do.
No,
They're
I have
evil.
I have a vicious kitten.
Uh-oh.
He's
I'm not
me
gonna-
looking for food.
I could say
Anyways,
something,
I
but
miss
I'm not
you
going
guys.
to.
I'm excited about Irwindale
Good.
as a sponsor, and I was listening about Nissan, and I just called to say hi. I can't be there today.
Oh, we love
miss
you, Anna.
And we'll harass you another time, I know, but you got a long drive back to Flakersfield.
Have a good toe. I mean, time.
yeah,
time, yeah.
and and it's supposed to snow in the Grapevine, so
That's
I
right.
got to
Home.
scoot.
Yeah,
Well,
get
have
going.
a good trip. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I miss you guys. You're having
Ba-dum-bum.
way too much fun.
That was good.
We are. Can you imagine what it would have been like if you were here too, cackling, giggling, being happy?
Break a toe.
Yeah.
Well, have fun. I'll be listening to you.
All right.
Okie
Sounds
dokie.
great. Take
Bye.
care,
All
lady.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so we're showing a video right now of the Classic Auto Show. This is when it was at the LA Convention Center.
That's Dave Kindick's
That's his
big,
trailer.
huge
big rig,
trailer.
yeah.
And on top, you can't see it, but on top of it, he's got like a little perch
Oh.
where it's almost like, the executive penthouse up there.
Oh,
where you can,
yeah.
There's a pool up there, too, I think. Is
There
there?
might
I have not been to the top of that before. No,
When he takes it back to Salt Lake City, it's a snow catcher, and he can ski off the top.
that could be.
Yeah, quite nice.
I've gone by his shop when I was in Salt Lake,
Uh-huh.
and it's just as massive on the outside as it looks like on TV. But I've never been there when it's open, so I can't go in. It's always been closed because when I've gone up there, it's always been a holiday weekend.
Oh, I
And
see.
they've been shut down. But I'm going to make it up to Bonneville this year, and I may go right through Salt Lake and
Oh,
say
okay.
hello during the week. We're going
Absolutely.
up. Actually, I got a shout out to Jeff out there in Great Britain. We're going to go up to Bonneville with him. He's going to attempt to go 300 miles an hour. He broke the record last year for the class he was running at over 260 miles an hour.
He's going to be driving, right?
He's going to be
Yeah.
driving. He's got a little T that he runs up there.
Model?
And a Model T. It's got a Hemi, a big Hemi.
I'm sorry.
He went 260
a Model
plus.
T
a
with
Model
a Hemi.
You got it.
300 horsepower Model T.
Built Ford tough with a bunch of Mopar stuff.
Wait, with 300 horsepower, 300 miles an hour.
300 miles an hour.
Wow, that's a quick Model T.
He did a little
That
over
is one quick
260,
Model
I
T.
believe it was, and he's
Look
in
at
Great
that
Britain.
vet. Man, that's
That's
gorgeous.
a nice vet.
Those
yeah.
are nice vets.
And he'll be back in here the end of this month to start working on the car. They had to update the chassis because of the speed they're attempting to hit, and they're building a bigger motor to make that number. But we're going to be going up that. So the Salt Racer, Jeff, is coming in from Great Britain, and I want to thank him too for everything he's doing for us and so forth. And the Chesworths from Great Britain, they keep in touch with us, and they're probably watching right now. But if you'd like to talk to us and get in on this great conversation, you can call us at 809-0802. And why don't you tell us about your experiences at the Classic Auto Show?
Operators are standing by.
I know. Hey, Bruce, you got a commercial for us to run right now?
I
So we can.
suspect I
and we'll
do.
take a little bit of break, give you guys a chance to call in, and we'll get ready. We'll catch our breath for the next segment of GAAS, Great American Auto Scene.
The name for a new kind of Pontiac, highly personal and specially designed. The Grand Prix is just 4.5 feet from roofline to road. It's more civilized and comfortable than a sports car. With deep cradling bucket seats, 5 solid color interiors. The Grand Prix has rear deck styling all its own. A special grille that says the Grand Prix is a unique new kind of car. It's luxurious without being stuffed shirt about it. The center console has a spacious compartment. Slip it in gear and take off. The Grand Prix is nimble and quick, poised on Pontiac's famous wide-track wheels. It handles as only a Pontiac can. The new Grand Prix, only Pontiac could have built it. Only you could enjoy it so much. GP, the Grand Prix by Pontiac.
And say hello to economy with the 1979 Plymouth Champ. You'll celebrate savings and get generous passenger and luggage space. A twin-stick transmission for economy and power, and unbeatable gasoline mileage. The new Plymouth Champ is a knockout with the best gasoline mileage of any car in California. So see your Southern California Chrysler Plymouth dealer today.
Say hello to the goodbye guys.
Watch how easy it is to drive in a hydromatic Oldsmobile. This special camera mounted on the back of the car will give you a bird's eye view. Keep your eye on the driver's right hand. See, even as she slows down smoothly and stops for a traffic sign, she has both hands on the wheel. Even as she starts up again and pulls away from traffic, there's no gear shifting, no clutch pushing. All she does is steer the car and operate the accelerator. There's not even a clutch pedal there. The camera shows that hydromatic drive works almost like magic. Keeps you always in the right gear automatically. It's smart to own an Olds, a futuramic Oldsmobile with GM hydromatic drive.
Hi, welcome back to GAAS, the Great American Auto Scene. And with us today, as I said earlier, and he's been chiming in from time to time, is Fireball. Hey, why don't you talk about some of your stuff? You've got some great things happening. Randy and I saw your books at the Peterson Automotive Museum, and you put on that great cruise at Malibu.
There's so much stuff going on. My head's going to pop at some point. one
Clear the
side
air!
or the
Clear
other.
the air,
I put one ear thing on one side just in case it pops on that side. But
well, normally I have two to keep my head level.
it's insane. It's insane. We do have our Wheels and it's not a cruise though. You do cruise to go in.
Yes,
but it's a Cars and Coffee. It's Wheels and Waves in Malibu, the only celebrity-driven Cars and Coffee because you guys go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I know for sure that there'll be at least 3 people there, but not this weekend because you guys are at Classic Auto Show.
That's right.
Which I'm coming Saturday though.
Okay, good.
I'm going to come Saturday. It's going to be fantastic.
Good.
Okay.
And come to our booth. We'll talk to you there. You can be the interviewer.
I will do it. I will
What booth,
do it.
by the way, is that, Bob? What booth number?
Booth number 0-1101.
Very good.
They
Now
kept the number
back to
simple
Tim.
so we can remember it.
So we not only because Wheels and Waves was very successful, we decided that people up in the Ventura area had to drive quite a ways to get down.
Yes,
so we
we
decided
do.
we're going to do the same thing at the Murphy Auto Museum. It's called Muscles and Mojo.
Oh.
Don't ask me what the Mojo stands for. I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
But if you come to the show, you're going to automatically just have it. Your Mojo's
Yes.
going
Should
to
have
escalate.
a bass guitar with a jadoo.
Yeah. That's right. All right. So lots of mojo. That's going to be starting in April. But we've done a lot of stuff. The Murphy Museum is going through a big retrofit, not only with the building and all the stuff, and I'll tell you a little bit about that, what's happening inside, but a lot of the cars are getting redone. Ken Vella from Wicked Customs, he just finished doing a fantastic restoration on a checker wagon.
Yeah, that
That's
was gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Oh, it's stunning. So that's done. done, you'll be able to see that. We just got a confirmation that a celebrity is going to be delivering some cars, having some cars there also. I can't say who it is yet, but it's going to be very cool. But the biggest news for the Murphy is that we are launching May 11th what's called the Fireball Gallery. And the Fireball Gallery is poised to be a world-class nostalgic art museum specifically for automotive artists. So these are not, people that paint landscapes and then every now and again they paint a car. This is for the true street guys. These are pinstripers and sculptors and guys that paint cars and live that artist life when it comes to cars, but they're going to apply that knowledge to art, and we're building a spectacular gallery right in the middle of the Murphy Museum.
Whoops, sorry.
See, they're already talking about it. It's nuts. It's nuts. But the biggest news with the gallery is we also got confirmation that we have a very, very famous street artist that is going to be is actually creating a sculpture specifically for that show, which is unheard of. Most of the time they'll bring stuff in, the things that they've done, but this is it's a group called Bohemia Incorporated, and you can check them out on Instagram. They're going to be creating something I can't even really verbalize it, but it's going to be truly unique. We have celebrities that are going to be there. Our second gallery showing in September, we're going to be featuring the art of Tony Dow, who was Wally
really?
on Leave It to Beaver.
Right.
He's going to be one of the artists, so it's really, really gearing up. Very exciting. But that first show is May 11th. It's going to be from 6 to about 10 o'clock at night. I hope you'll join us. It's going to be spectacular.
Sounds
Well,
good.
good.
Yeah. So we're busy doing that. And then the final thing, my wife and I, we have our company, which is Fireball Publishing.
Right.
See, the phones are ringing off the hook already because, there's so much going on. And we got our coloring books that we're doing. We have a whole slew of automotive coloring books. We currently have Corvettes and Mustangs, vintage trailers. I'm working on a Porsche book right now. It's kind of tough. Because every time you turn around, someone says, "Hey, Mopar. Hey, we should do classic shoebox Chevys or something like that." So, there's just so many people that love their cars that would love and appreciate a coloring book. I'm telling you right now, our goal in 5 years is to create 100 books, and we're doing all that for you guys. And those books, a portion of the proceeds for those books goes to animal rescues, dog rescues specifically, and to Ocean Conservancy. So we're very proud, very excited to be working on some of that stuff. The Murphys involved, and we're just trying to expand the horizons of automotive culture, sink deep, having a good time. That's it.
That's great. But now the books you got, and we saw them at Peterson the other day. Maybe Randy can pull up your site and show some of the pictures of them, because they're really good. They're not just your simple coloring book. I know I've got a whole set of them, and we actually got 2 sets, and one set's going to go to the grandkids.
I thought you were going to say one set is for like darts, playing darts or something.
No, not yet.
He's going to hang on to them as Fireball Tim originals, and they'll be investment property, and you just never know.
Yeah, you could sell them for $10 instead of $8.
Yeah,
I'm going to start to.
Well,
I've got to do something at home during the day when I'm doing nothing, so I'm going to start coloring them. And my wife has made sure that I stay between the lines and do it. She's gotten me my own little
That's the
felt
practice.
tip pens, because they don't want me to have anything sharp.
Felt tip pens? You don't use crayons?
No, do they still make felt tip pens?
Well, if they do, they bleed all the way through.
There's the Mustang book.
Oh, there's the Mustang book.
I think that the whole premise for doing these books is that Kathy and I went to CVS one day, and we were going to buy a coloring book for our granddaughter who we just had, and the books are they're terrible. You go to CVS, the paper's terrible. It's either Star Wars or Marvel, and there's nothing in between. It's rainbows and ponies. But there's nothing for the true automotive enthusiast. And I think that, with us designing cars for movies, as I've done in the last 30 years or so, and to be able to take theme, those kinds of things, like if Dwayne Johnson were a car, what kind of car would he be? Obviously, he'd be a Chevelle, because that's all he drives in just about every movie he does. Vintage trailers, you open up the book for vintage trailers, and you can see some really great vintage trailers, but as the book proceeds, it gets crazier and crazier till eventually the last page is vintage trailers on the moon, which is something that makes sense for me. Right, that's something
it could happen.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing. We've trying to do high concept stuff that kids can look at and have a sense of wonder and excitement and fun, and it's not just the normal stuff. So I think they're very successful. They're at the Peterson, and they're at the National Corvette Museum. lots of museums across the country. The Malibu book you're seeing right there, that benefited 100% of proceeds benefit the Woolsey fire. So a lot of fun, good stuff, feel good stuff, and we've had a lot of really good input from people. So very proud of it.
It's good. They are really high quality. So if you get a chance, they're available on Amazon.
You bet.
You can check it out. Now, how do they search for them on Amazon?
You can just type in Fireball Coloring Book. You can type in Fireball Corvettes, Fireball Mustangs, anything as long as the word Fireball is in front of it. You'll see right now we have about 20 books. We have 10 books coming out this year. We also do sea life books. So Kathy handles the ocean books. She just did Surf for Girls. We did Surf Woodies, which just came out before that, which is really cool. And then she's doing the history of surfing, which is really great.
Really?
But the Surfer Girls has inspirational quotes in it, so they're not the normal book. The shark book teaches kids all about each individual shark, even though there's 400 species, different types of sharks.
That's going to be a lot of comic pages.
It's a lot of pages. It's a big, thick book. No, it's not quite that. No.
Cool.
But we're trying to do a step up from, we grew up with coloring books, and all you did was color. Maybe you did a crossword puzzle or some word phrases and things like that. But we're trying to add some inspiration so that kids grow up with a lot of challenges these days. They have parents that are challenged themselves, and they instill habits that aren't necessarily best serving them. So if there's a way that we can get them on the straight and narrow, have them believe in themselves, that they can accomplish anything, and that all they have to do is decide and focus. And that's what we're focusing on our vlog show that way. And then we have a new talk show in the morning. It's called Art Talk, which is live on Facebook at 8 o'clock in the morning, every morning. Every weekday morning. It's called Art Talk, and we talk about how do you become successful as an artist in this world? Not successful necessarily financially, but how do you become fulfilled? How do you do something that you love so you feel good every day, and you can bring some of your dreams to fruition? And creativity, we're creative beings, so we can it could be a business plan or it can be an art piece. It doesn't really matter. We want to create stuff and we want to be proud of it. So it's an opportunity to have everybody discuss that together.
Well, my old 67 Mustang, my first car, it's parked across the street right now, and it's going to get a repaint soon because the paint's just awful on it. I think I'll get one of your Mustang books.
Yeah.
I can practice what the new design is going to be.
There you go.
It'll be functional art.
I'd recommend Wicked Customs because he's good. He's working on a Mustang right now.
He's doing it.
What year is that?
It's a 67.
I think he's working on a 66 right now. Yeah, some good stuff.
All right, then.
Really
Well, I'll use the coloring book first to kind of design, and then we'll go from there.
There you go.
Then you can play like
just Xerox. Find the page, and you can Xerox a bunch of them, and do a bunch of different color versions.
Foos does it. Dave Kindig does it.
Right.
All these guys.
You get out your coloring pencils or pencil book or whatever. Does your wife let you have things sharp? And then you can start coloring them and putting in the shading that you want and the different colors, and it'll end up.
I got to tell you this one thing. When I was in school, we had this assignment from this teacher, and he said that I want you to do 20 sketches, but you can only use one medium one time. So if you use marker on one sketch, you can't use the marker again, right? So you think you can probably come up with 15 to 20 different mediums, right? A little chalk here, a little pencil. After about 8 or 9, you run out of everything. So now you're cutting your finger and you're using blood, you're using toothpaste, you're using cologne. You're getting really creative, right?
Sure.
Okay. So then you turn all these sketches in and you think, wow, I really went for broke. And then you realize everybody else had the same assignment, but nobody used the same material you did. And you suddenly realize there's hundreds of things that you could have used. Guys were using spray cans and all this kind of stuff. And you realize how unlimited that creativity is. So when you do your book and you do colors, just go crazy, man. Go nuts. Just add anything you want.
I'm on it.
You're on it. All right. And speaking of on it, on the phone right now is DJ Sorensen. DJ, how are you doing out there?
Good. I'm doing real good.
Good. Now, you are kind of connected with Jack Beckman.
Yes, sir.
What is exactly is going on? Because you were talking to me about some great giveaway that's going to be happening in conjunction with the foundation that Jack drives for.
Yes, we're going to be doing a bowling event May 30th at Strike and Spread 2 in Lockport, Illinois.
Okay. Well, what does that consist of? You got a helmet that, like, $1 million helmet?
He's going to be wearing it for one run, and then we're going to be auctioning it off.
And the proceeds going to what?
All proceeds will be going to the Infinite Hero Foundation.
Okay, Infinite Hero, and that's been Jack Beckman's sponsor for a number of years now, and Infinite Hero is one of the organizations that helps veterans, but they are 100% funding what they do to veterans. It's all volunteer. It's not like some of the others that take 90% of what's donated to operate their facilities in operation. This one donates 100% of what they get in.
Yes, sir.
Now, one of the things my car club did, and you can do the same thing, I think it's a $200 donation, and you will get a coin that's a Infinite Hero coin. It will go on a
$100 donation.
$100 donation, and it'll go on a pass with Jack, and it comes back and he puts it in a nice little case for you and such. Cool. So this happens at every race, so you can do this anytime you want. But the helmet deal, that's going to be cool. It's a full-face, race-legal helmet. So this isn't one of these little, things you find at Walmart and pick up. This is a real deal, Nomex, SFI, expensive skid lid.
Yes, it is. And our event is Thursday, May 30th from 6:30 all 9, and it's $75 a person.
Okay, cool. And they're going to do this where again?
Lockport, Illinois.
Rockport, Illinois.
Jack Beckman, Tommy Johnson Jr., and TJ Zizzo will be there.
Cool.
I mean, yes.
So you got the whole Schumacher funny car team.
Yes.
That'll be great. And Jack Beckman, past NHRA points leader, champion in funny car.
Yes.
Currently running right in the top 5. But he's always been in the top 10 for as long as he's been driving funny cars. And Jack's got a varied background. I even took the dragster driving school from him. I took the school for Super Comp.
Yes, sir. And he's a former Marine.
Yes.
Air Force, sorry.
Air Force, that's right, Air Force. And he started out drag racing with an El Camino that he's restoring right now. And that's when I first met Jack up at Los Angeles County Raceway some 30-some-odd years ago. And he wasn't Fast Jack then. He was just Jack Beckman. And one of the other racers, who was called Fast Eddie, and him were discussing things in the staging lanes. And Jack said, I need a fancy name like you've got. And he said, okay, you're Fast Jack. And that kind of stuck.
And there it is.
And there it is.
So
I think I made him faster, too.
Who's painting the El Camino is doing the helmet for us.
Oh, cool. And Jack's painting the thing. That is such a bright yellow. I've seen the pictures from him. And, I mean, there's a school bus looking for its paint job right now.
Yes. And Route 66 Raceway sponsored our event, too.
Cool. That's good. And this is going to happen May 30th?
Yes.
And Rockport, Illinois. So check it out.
Yeah, Lockport.
Lockport. Okay. I've never been to Illinois often. And but that's a great place to be.
That's because half of it's frozen right now.
That's true. You ever say, it drives me nuts. You look at the thing and we're going, lake effect snow. What the heck is lake effect snow? It's the wind blowing the moisture off the lake and it turns into snow.
Yeah, that's why
you
it's
won't
40
care.
degrees.
You won't care what it's called when your parts start freezing off.
It says it's 45 degrees outside. Feels like 12.
It's taken me a year and a half to plan this thing, too.
Really?
Wow,
you got a lot of time invested in that, and it's going to be for a well-worth cause. Hey, DJ, thank you very much for calling in. We got to move on. And check out Jack Beckman's website. He's on Facebook. He's got a lot of different pages. The Schumacher team, one of the top funny car teams in the nation.
Hero Bowling Facebook, too.
He's got Facebook.
You can sign up, too.
Okay, great. All right, thanks a lot, DJ, for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yep, thank you. Bye.
All right. Now we're going to move on to the muscle car portion of the show. And we talked about AMCs. Now, a lot of people go, AMC? Well, yeah. AMC actually has a very strong history in muscle cars. And they were quite quick. They were dominant for a while under the tutelage of Shirley Shahan, Wally Booth, and they even ran at NASCAR with a big Matador. And we've got some pictures. Look
at that.
This is the Rebel. Now, one of the unique things about some of the muscle cars that AMC did is they were very patriotic.
I mean, it's not a pacer, but it's cool.
No, yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, you can't get as many fish in it.
This year reminds you of the 1 Adam 12 car that they had.
Yeah.
A little bit, except that was the 4-door version, obviously.
Four-door version of a 401, and those things were tire smokers.
Yeah.
Those things had some horsepower. Now, one of my favorite, the Javelin.
The Funky Jet.
This is one of the last one of them that had the big bulges in the hood, and the Roger Penske team took the Trans Am Championship with this body style Javelins.
Isn't that a strange proportion? Isn't it? I mean, look at that.
It's weird.
It's just weird.
Compare it to the first series Javelin.
Yes.
It's stretched out and it's just different. But you know something? These are getting to be more and more popular.
They are, and they were comfortable cars too. They were well appointed. They were at the top of. I guess you compare it to a top of the line Mustang as far as appointments. The interiors were not as Spartan as, say, a base model Camaro or even a Mustang. And they did have a base model. They did have a 6-cylinder version, but they had 340s, 390s, 401s. They were pretty quick cars. This was a limited edition Trans Am commemorative car that I've always liked the red, white, and blue striping, but this one was painted exactly the way the Trans Am car was.
This is a 1970 you're seeing now, and I love that design because it really takes the best of the original.
Yeah.
And it adds a little bit of a different front grille to it. It stands out a little bit more. But again, the fact that they were able to put an airflow in there and the whole thing, it just looks great.
And now, Randy, you have one of these. It's in 1/32nd scale.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. There was silence there for a moment. I was like, wait,
I didn't think about that one.
Where was I that night? I don't remember.
And we actually raced at the SEMA show.
You know,
that's true.
That car right there looks like a pair of my old Adidas that I had.
I just threw,
you know, with the swoosh on the side, whatever the stripes, the
Rambler Rebel. This was 390 cubic inches. You got a 4-speed, and they were neat cars. If you go to an AMC show, and there are special shows for the AMCs, these are coveted machines along with the Scrambler. We'll show pictures of that in a bit.
The machine? That's a Scrambler there.
Here's the Scrambler. Actually, they called it a Scrambler. That was the nickname of it. It was SC Rambler.
Right.
And everyone just called it a Scrambler. But 390 cubic inches, 4-speed. You could get any color you wanted as long as it's red, white, and blue. There were 2 years of these cars, and they had different paint jobs. This is the more popular of the two, and even the seats had a red, white, and blue stripe in them, but the basic interior color was black. These were 390 cubic inch AMC Americans, which were a very lightweight car, the size of a Chevy 2 or a Ford Falcon. And they were pretty darn quick.
You remember what the horsepower was on those?
315, if I remember correctly. And here was the AMC.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do when you've got a Javelin and you need a smaller car? You lop off 10 inches of wheelbase. You now have a 2-seater. And the AMX was built for a number of years, a 2-seat, basically a Javelin. So kind of like the same rule of thumb they used for the Gremlin. We don't need that back end, and there it's gone.
And the only problem about that is it just dramatically changed the handling. If you did not expect the 2-seater to handle, if you thought it was going to handle just like the Javelin, you were sadly wrong. And unfortunately, that caused issues for some people who had AMXs. But I'm told you can get used to it.
Yeah, it's just very twitchy because of the short wheelbase.
Right.
But they were great for drag racing. And we'll have a picture of Shirley Shahan's car in just a little bit.
Is that her?
Booyah. No,
okay, just checking.
That was the promo photograph for the AMX when it first came out.
A buddy of mine was a drummer, and he used to load his drums into his AMX, and I don't know how he did it. But he
no back seat.
Yeah. Well, also, was there no partition in the back too?
I don't believe so, but there's a real short deck lid.
Right.
Now we talk about gremlins in the computer. Here's a real gremlin. And these had up to a 304 cubic inch V8 from the factory, and you could get them with a 4-speed or an automatic. It was a torque flight.
Or denim.
Or denim, yes. There was the Levi edition.
That's right.
But that you could have with a 6-cylinder. Now, although 304 wasn't very big, the race versions had the 401. But in SCCA road racing, these little cars with the 6-cylinder dominated the BF Goodrich Radial Challenge series. They were very good handling cars, even though with their short wheelbase, they were twitchy just like the AMX.
This looks like Starsky Forgot Hutch.
It did,
yes.
yeah. This was one of the latter little Gremlins with the full big stripe. There's the one I liked the best, and that was the earlier Gremlins with just the hockey puck stripe.
Starsky with a lobotomy there, I believe.
Yeah, there it is.
That was that. Yeah.
It's almost a pacer, isn't it?
Yeah, almost. But towards the end of life of the Gremlins, they had a deal with Audi. And the 4-cylinder engine, they needed some fuel economy, and the 6-cylinder just wasn't making it. They put a 4-speed Audi 4-cylinder in these cars.
Wow.
And it was a carbureted version. It wasn't the fuel injected like the Audi got. And they were pretty underpowered.
Shocking.
Shocking. The 6-cylinder had a lot more torque. Now, this car I always loved. This was the experimental AMX that never came out, but it was a show vehicle, and this kind of let you see that AMC was not just making stodgy cars. They could have made this, and it would have been a Di Tommaso killer at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I think that was just a buck too. I don't think that had a motor or anything.
You know,
No
I don't
interior.
know, but one of them or this one showed up at Pebble Beach a few years ago, and it is in the hands of a private owner now.
Wow.
So it was a gorgeous car. And there's another shot of the Scrambler, and the unique Magnum 500 wheels. They were painted blue, the trim ring. And you can see the red, white, and blue stripes now on the seats.
That's a hell of a red stripe on there.
That is.
Man.
You didn't miss
wow.
that car. Right alongside it, there's the AMX painted up. Now, I don't remember the AMX getting the triple color paint
What was it,
job.
Mark Donahue?
Donahue was driving the Javelins.
Speaking of which,
Yeah, nice.
looking into my crystal ball.
And he was driving for Penske, and Penske took the championship. Shut down. Penske got, I guess, disappointed or something with Chevrolet, and switched to AMC and was able to just dominate the Trans Am Series that year, winning about 9 out of the 10 or 11 races they had. And it was just perfectly dominant with that car. Unfortunately, it was towards the latter part of the Trans Am Series, and the series went away.
There you go. There's Shirley's car.
There's Shirley's car. Shirley Shahan. She got most of her notoriety driving Mopars, even though that is a Mopar today. But she was a super stock driver, took a championship, won the Winter Nationals, and a whole number of races. Was probably the top stock driver in NHRA. And this is one of the latter cars. This was her AMX.
Now, if you want to see what some of these look like in person, coming up next month will be Spring Fling. There's a big Mopar show, Chrysler Performance West, and I'm always the MC at that event.
Where's that?
That's over at Woodley Park.
Okay.
Yes, so you need to come out there. We have cars coming in from other states. We've had some in Canada coming down, and it's always fun to look at those cars, speaking of the machine right there.
Yeah.
Some of the cars out there that we have coming from Canada, for example, they're made differently. For example, your Dodges that come down from Canada, they have Plymouth dashboards.
Right.
Although they still have the push-button trans and the push buttons on the instrument panel, but they have a lot of them have Plymouth instrument panels.
I think it'd be cool to have a Fargo pickup truck.
There you go.
Yeah,
which was the Chrysler.
Which
was a Plymouth.
Yeah. Well,
or
it was a Dodge truck,
depending on the year.
Yeah.
The early ones were shared Plymouth and Dodge, the body style.
Right.
A lot of different, and we talked about this too. My Plymouth in Canada, and I've got a 48 Plymouth Coupe, was sold also as a Dodge, and I got the Dodge trim on my trunk and the Plymouth up front just to screw with people.
Hey, so Randy, is the show you're talking about, is that on the same weekend as Fabulous Fords Forever this year? Because, see, last year was,
Yes,
and
it
I wanted to go to your show.
Okay.
Yeah, likewise.
What's the date?
Well, get your priorities in order and go to the right show.
Okay,
let's
then.
go.
See, all I got to
think
do is
you
figure it
don't have
out.
to travel all the way down to Orange County.
Second weekend in April.
Second weekend in April. It's, I believe, April 13th and 14th.
Okay.
All right.
Got it right here on this itty-bitty card. Whoops.
There it is, someplace hiding there.
Da.
Yeah, there's the machine. There's the Javelin once again.
Hey, April 13th is Tony Dow's birthday.
Is it really?
Oh, man,
Yeah,
things
You know
are
what,
Tony
you know what
Dow's
I'm doing with him?
No.
I'm taking him to JDRF at Auto Club Speedway. We're gonna be driving exotic cars
Oh, is
around
that
the track.
weekend too?
Yep.
Oh,
That's on the 13th.
Okay, so
No, that's the week before.
no, 13th and 14th will be
no, that is
Spring Fling.
Yeah, that's right. And the 14th is going to be the Fabulous Ford show.
Well, I'm not
And
taking
they
him on his
moved it.
birthday. I'm taking him the week before.
The week
So,
before.
yeah,
You're gonna be fine.
we'll come to that
Yeah,
show.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Now,
Don't
this
worry
year, the Ford show has moved from Knott's Berry Farm, where it's been for 20-some-odd years, and they're moving it to Anaheim Stadium. So it's going to be
I
bigger.
think that's even further
and
away.
larger.
Yes, it is.
I hope it has better weather than the
last one you went
thing
to.
that we went to. Yeah, they had this big thing. Paul Walker and celebrities and all
And
that.
it was a
Tyrese
flood.
was there, and
Yeah.
and we went out there just to see what the story was. And it was raining so hard, I learned do not wear tennis shoes or basketball shoes while you're in a downpour because it just gets wet.
Things not to do.
Things not to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a new show.
Should have worn my mucklucks.
Mucklucks, yes. Waders.
Gazebo.
There
Yes.
you go. All right, this weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend for Randy and I. We're going to be at the Classic Auto Show. Bruce is going to be there, too. He's going to be videotaping a lot of the cars and the events. We'll have him at our booth as well. We can talk to him. You may end up being the interviewee if you come by at the right time. Fireball, what are you doing this weekend?
If you're going to the Classic Auto Show, which
Yes.
I recommend that you do,
Yes.
it's 2 days.
That's right.
But if you live in Ventura or in the north area and you got to drive all the way down there,
the way down.
it's a good stop. Just saying, stop in Malibu at the Wheels and Waves at the Malibu Country Mart for some free coffee, free Hot Wheels. Get your mojo going,
Yes.
and then head to the show, man.
Yeah, that's
That'll
it.
work.
And you
That's
get
the
there
plan.
early. Yeah, get there early. It's on the way. Taking the coast route is actually quicker than taking the 101 freeway and the 405.
It's
so
a
you
lot
can come
more
down
fun.
the coast route. My wife was there last month. She made the show. She stopped by on her way down. She was on her way down to the ADM, the Automotive Driving Museum. She stopped by, went to your show, then drove down to El Segundo from there.
Fantastic.
And it's a much better drive. It's a beautiful drive on the coast.
That's why we're there. That's why we do it early.
Absolutely. Coming up on the latest Talking About Cars. As a matter of fact, a new one is uploading on Thursday. It's looking like we're going to have Robert Carradine of Revenge of the Nerds fame.
Very nice.
And he's going to talk a little bit about why he likes undercover police cars and why his favorite drag strip may be Mulholland Drive. I'm just saying. Also, who did I say we were talking to? The NASCAR guy.
The NASCAR guy, yes. The new guy in
The
NASCAR.
new guy. Matt Benedetto or something like that? Matt?
I don't remember.
Well, whatever it is,
As you can tell, we are not NASCAR fans.
That guy is going to be on the show.
He's going to be on the show, and not after he sees this.
Yes.
But we're also going to have Playmate of the Year 2013, Rachel Pomplin.
Can we? Do you have guests? I mean, can you have guests of
Take
guests?
a deep breath.
I
mentioned, I did mention Playboy Playmate of the Year.
Yeah, and so everybody can't talk
Now, one of the pictures that you may not have noticed that we didn't talk to was the Playmate AMX.
Yes.
Yes, that was.
No, it wasn't on there though. Did we show it? The pink one?
I didn't see
I
it.
sent it, didn't I?
I do. How would we identify it?
It's pink.
It's pink.
Jinx went to the Yomri root beer.
And she's actually standing with it.
Oh yeah, she's. Well, it's not hers, but she is this
It
the
was.
old? Is this the one from when she originally got it?
Yes, she has dark hair and she's
Victoria Vetri.
That's it.
Yeah, you could actually see or listen, I should say, to that podcast as well on radio.com, KNX1070.com, Apple Podcasts, all those places where you get your podcasts. But it's really an interesting story behind it, and that was back in the day when they actually gave the Playmates the cars.
Yes.
And we have a plan to talk to even more Playmates, I believe, next month. So we
That's
will
always fun.
We will give that a shot.
As they say in Playboy, the stories are really great.
Yes,
yes,
they are.
They are.
Yes, they are. But
And they all got cars too.
Yeah, and in fact, Rachel's year was the first year, 2013, that they did not give them the cars.
Oh,
they actually started a year lease in 2013 with her. So. And you'll find out her reaction to that.
Yeah, I can imagine, because that was a heck
and what
of a
she
gift.
did to her last car, or the Playboy car that she got, and what was the one part about that car she really liked.
Uh-oh.
So that'll be coming up. So that'll be a brand new podcast talking about cars, number 135, and that'll be starting Thursday morning. We'll have it uploaded to all those radio.com, KNX1070.com places.
Show.
Bruce, how's your Lincoln doing?
Man, it's doing good. And, of course, I'll be prepping that for show season. Maybe have a little local show coming up very, very early in in April, and then things go boom. Not the car.
No.
No,
And
that
don't
would
work
be
on the
right.
radiator again. I don't want you breaking your foot.
Yeah, none of that now. I'm still looking for bushings for the rear end. There's a lot of bushings that need replacing. It's an odd size, and because it's doing a little bit of that on the freeway.
I can't handle talking about playmates and then bushings in the same conversation.
Not with
that.
rear ends, no.
Thank you. And one more thing, if I can throw this in.
Go right ahead,
We actually
please.
did this yesterday. I am a former sportscaster at Channel 11, Fox 11 here in L.A. And so they're celebrating their 70th anniversary. Coming up on March 29th will be a segment about sports coverage at Channel 11. And let's see, Liz Habib, who's a sports person there now, I'm going to be on it. Steve Garvey's going to be on it.
Arms Garvey.
What's that?
Arms Garvey.
Yes, Elaine Perkins, who, by the way, was one of the first women to ever get in the men's locker rooms. We're talking in the mid-'80s when that just didn't happen. So she has some great stories to tell as far as, the fact that how the teams interacted with her and all that type of thing. So it's real interesting. I understand it's going to be March 29th around 5 or 6 in the evening. So, and they'll repeat it a bunch of times. But check that out as well.
Cool. All right.
Join me tomorrow morning.
Yes.
8 o'clock in the morning. Facebook Live, Art Talk.
Get up that early?
You got nothing to. 8 o'clock. It's time change has happened already.
So it's really
You got an
7,
extra hour.
man. It's really 7.
God. Gosh.
I thought we sprang forward. Did we fall back?
did.
I don't know what the hell.
We sprang for it.
Oh, and I'm on KNX 1070 tomorrow
1070
morning.
tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
You get there at
tomorrow
dark
So
30.
listen to Randy.
Listen to Randy.
And then
listen to Fireball, and then I'll be sleeping and thinking about you all.
That's
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to GAAS, the Great American Auto Scene. And we'll talk to you next time. Hope to see you at the Orange County Fairgrounds for the Classic Automobile Show 2019 edition. And we hope to see you there. Here's the official logo of the show, the Classic Auto Series. Fingers are available separately. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening.